How late is late for anyone? We saw a post that says, everything is God's timing. Trust the process and enjoy the waiting time. In life, there's a waiting period. But we all desire different things. You want to get married, you want to have children, you want to have a great job, you want to travel the world, you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, you want to do stuff. And that impatience makes us make certain decisions. But somebody made a post and said, there is a waiting period. But during that waiting period, how do you encourage yourself? How do you empower yourself to accept and embrace that wait before you get to your destination? Please share your thoughts with us. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and on Facebook, and we'll be happy to read your comments. So this is such an important conversation because while the wait is going, and you feel there's no light at the end of the tunnel, it's always hard. As a waiting mother, waiting single man, single girl trying to get married to find the perfect wife, then you're waiting for children, you're waiting for a new job, you're waiting for the house. That waiting period is so difficult. And people say, trust the process. But as a young person, you need people who have made some kind of achievement in life to reassure you of how to trust the process, because they don't even know how to trust that process. Some of them are depressed, and they feel it's the end of the world. In fact, they feel all the circumstances around them is such that there is no light at the end of the tunnel, including the issue of insecurity in our country. I'm thinking, until I leave this country, I have no movement. Until I enter Murtala and get out, there's no stepping forward. So how do we begin to encourage each other in this waiting period?
So I think that we need to start by understanding that we all have different paths. We all have our different destinies. We all have our different purposes. And I will go back to parenting. When you have children, it's very unfair that you compare them because they all have their different journey. Kunle will not be like Mayowa. Their paths have been orchestrated and they will go in that direction. So if you have that understanding, you will not be pitching a child against the other. Can't you see your brother? Your brother has achieved at so age, he achieved this, he did that, he did this one. See you, you are still loafing around. And I'll take it to the scriptures because we had even our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who his mission was just to last, for him to just be and save the world, and he only had 33 years to live. The first 30 years, he had not started achieving his purpose. When he got to 30, he did that purpose and achieved it at 33 and left. So he fulfilled his purpose at the time that it was right. We've heard of, is it not this KFC person who started at, was it 60 he started, I remember? Yes, so he lived a whole 60. Nothing, till he started at 60, and then I think he ended up at, I can't remember the age that he died now. So let's not use our timing to define another person's timing and feel that, you know the way society makes it, once you finish from school, you're 20-something, a man should be coming, that's the right thing. And once you marry, the next 2 months, you're looking at your tummy, you should be having a child and all of that. It's society's construct. Let's not use that to define ourselves. Our paths are different. And I'll take it to you beginning to find your purpose. Speak to yourself. Speak to your God. Let him show you, because the problem we have most times is that because we are not very clear about our purpose, we let the outside noise begin to disturb us and worry us. But if you can find that clarity from within, then my time will come. And this is my time for preparation. There's something somebody always tells me, that the timing you use to prepare is usually longer than the performance. So you see a musician who is constantly in the studio, putting in all the hours, and goes on stage, and that performance is just 10 minutes. But you have spent years and years preparing for that performance.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I see it a little differently about that waiting period. And I don't like to call it the waiting period. I think we're all on a journey, and there are different seasons. Do you understand? So sometimes you find yourself somewhere and you feel that this is not my destination. It's a part of the process. It's a journey. Today you're here, and there's so many lessons to learn where you are right now. And the lessons you learn where you are right now would will come in handy for you where you find yourself in 2, 3, 5 years. You find some people who are so disgruntled and just unhappy because they find themselves working somewhere for minimum wage. And that unhappiness does not allow them give their best and do their best. And usually people who seem to be more open-minded and just happy where they are and give their best, from where they are, they get referrals, they get opportunities to even do bigger things. So it's your attitude where you are today. So it's not a waiting period where you're sitting down and just counting the days, counting the minutes, and waiting for your destination. Everyone who is a billionaire today, if we were to use billionaires as a rating for success, started from somewhere. Some people, we have heard the stories of when they used to be billionaires, but their happiness or their journey did not end there. It's a journey, and wherever you find yourself, apply yourself, be happy where you are. As long as you're happy with yourself, wherever you find yourself, just be accepting of your situation, of your season, and put in your best.
Right, okay,
That's
let me
how
go
I
on
see
a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. We'll take it to relationships and other things. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still on the issue of the waiting period. Nima, let me get your initial thoughts.
Okay, so having waited for some things in my life, I'm in that place where I call it, there's a beauty to waiting. I had the opportunity of mentoring someone recently, and she's been waiting for, she's dealing with infertility, and she recently just got pregnant. We were just enjoying the news, and the next day, she was bleeding, and then she had to evacuate the baby. Oh. And I was saying to her that, don't worry, there's a picture there's a goal that you focus on, and that goal gives you positivity. That I was, even in all that craziness, I had this proper family I used to just console myself with. And today, and I'm looking at my daughter first and a son next, and I'm saying that was the picture. I didn't have a third child in that picture. It was just 2 children, and I was saying to her that that's what you just keep focusing on. Even when you go for your treatments and everything, you know it will become your reality at some point. But I looked at her and I saw how difficult it was to be hearing that thing at the point I was holding her hands through hospital. So I would say it's never easy until you're there. But I would say keep a positive mindset, because in retrospect, you would see that you really need not worry. And there's also this thing I said to her that I now believe. There's a delay period that you're supposed to use for other things. Maybe you want children. Let me use children, for instance. So when I was waiting to have a child, my friends and all of them went for their masters. And I was just focusing on my fertility treatment only. Today, I have children, and I'm struggling to fill in for a master's. Twice I've tried, and I've said, it's not now. Give it a year. If mistakenly I get pregnant today, I can't do a master's within a year. That's the way God has structured it. So I was saying to her that maybe this time is for you to self-develop to that point when you're ready.
I agree.
And then there's also what I call being ready for that gift you're asking God for.
Yes.
If He knows that you're not yet ready, He just doesn't want to give you a burden you can't handle. But it's difficult for you to accept it. You'll be looking at a person telling you that you are not in the same shoes. People have been through shoes. I have seen people waiting for a job. So there's a young man now. I'm seriously offended by that young man I had to mentor. So he has a results issue. And getting him a job anywhere, drop CV, talk to people about him, will not happen. So add another qualification to yourself. But it's just focused on his girlfriend. She's a distraction. She wants to get married. She wants this and that. And that love is just full. I'm like, who do you to this point? Because it is the least thing. You see, in a few years, he still wants a good job. He wants to give her the life. And then he will hate her.
The love self might disappear along the line.
No, not be say, the girl gone on love. Because it is in comfort. And I'm saying to him, please, just focus on this thing I'm telling you.
Somebody gave me an analogy
pushing
that in Nigeria, we're all still in the waiting period for good governance. We're waiting for that democracy to flourish. And in the period while we're waiting, some of us are making it happen. Some of us are making it in this same country. Some of us are succeeding. So that person was trying to encourage me that, Maria, listen, in every way you find yourself, make the best of it. But in this woman's post, let me go back to the issue of relationship. Because when you tell a 30, 40-year-old woman that enjoyed the waiting period, that it's going to come, she says that she got married at, I think she started her non-profit at 40, had her son at 42, landed her dream job at 48. So these are things that happen even in the 40s against societal expectations.
Yeah.
So society expects you to marry at a certain age. But when a woman is in her 40s and she's feeling like, when is it going to be my turn to do all the things I want to do? In that situation, I know you said it's not easy unless you're in those shoes. You can't really comfort that kind of person.
Yeah.
But aside from making the best of it, what other things can that person use to alleviate that pain they feel during that waiting period?
The very first thing is to have clarity as to where you're heading. So when you're 16, 20, younger, there's a clarity of the goal that you have to have. Some people just want... So someone was saying to me, I can't marry that guy now because he doesn't have a car. And I'm like, car is not the thing. No. Is he a beating? Say, he cannot even beat me, but you don't have clarity. You don't have clarity of the kind of person you want to be. And maybe if it doesn't now happen, what you'll be blaming is that maybe I should have undermarried. But if you're clear as to where you're going, you can marry somebody that doesn't have a car because he has other potentials that you can see. You know what the potentials are because you have clarity. As you just want to have a husband that have car and house. That one is different. That's not clarity. But clarity is that you can see the potential and say it will still happen. You as a young girl, you don't lack the intellectual ability to know what a potential is. But,
okay, I think that the waiting period, like we like to call it because of the purpose of this conversation, is a time to learn. It's a learning curve. And I've seen a lot of people who had some bad character, manners that needed to go through fire to be ready for the blessing. So God prepares the glory, but you need to be ready. There's a process you have to go through to be ready so that when the glory comes, it doesn't suppress you. It doesn't kill you. You can't withstand the glory. So when I see a lot of waiting, I did a lot of waiting in my life. I waited for my results before I got into the university. All my friends had moved to the university. I waited for a lot of things that I wouldn't even want to mention on TV. And I'm still waiting as we go on in life. But I see that as a time that God wants to prune you. You know the way you prune your flower, you prune your plants so that they come out better, they come out refined, they come out. So if you see that as a pruning process, let me give you an example. I remember I was having a conversation with a young girl recently. I said, I'm sure God did not let me blow in music because he wanted to teach me humility. There was something he wanted to teach me. So if immediately I did that music and I blew, I may have been a very proud person. But that period broke me. Like, I will look in the mirror, I will be weeping. I will say, is it not song? I can sing, I can scale, I can rap, I can do this. I am talented. I can hold my audience and engage them. I am this, I am that. But that period broke all. You saw those wings? He broke it. He pruned me. He scattered me and everything. And along other experiences I've had as a human being, when I look back now, I may not have been a music star, you know, but I'm happier where I am. I have empathy for people. I treat everybody around me as a human being. Right. If I had come out and just blown like that, I may have lost that lesson. So let's take that period as a period and constantly, if you work with God closely, constantly ask him, what are you teaching me? Right. What am I learning this time that will help me tomorrow?
We're going to wrap up on this very quickly. Yes,
ma'am. So for me, I would just like to take a little away from relationships and waiting for babies and waiting for marriage, because I feel like we've discussed it in various forms on this program. But it's also really about what you think that you should have achieved at a certain age. When you're with a group of people of a certain age group, in your 40s, you should have a house or a car or a job or a certain type of gadgets. You're not using this sort of phone, or you're using this sort of wristwatch, you're driving this sort of car. So society makes you feel that if you don't have the thing that a group of people have determined for you is what you should have, then you're unhappy for yourself, you know. And I remember one time someone made a post about a designer that started, she's a world-recognized designer, and she started Vera Wang dresses. She started her first wedding dress when she was 40, and many other people in their 50s. That's when they started the big business that we know them internationally for. And I posted it, and someone sent me a message, take your time. It's when you wake up that it's your morning.
Yes.
I understood that, but also I feel that that message also comes across like, well, keep being lazy. Keep being lazy. When you wake up, you will know yourself. You know, that sort of thing. And I've heard this because people have said it to me that, how do I respond to when someone sends me that sort of message? Is the person being encouraging, or is the person being dismissive, or, you know, trying to make me feel bad? But the thing is, no one can make you feel any sort of way. You have to do it for yourself. And when you do wake up, it's your morning. But nobody determines to you what that morning is and how it should be. What's important that if you apply yourself,
look at Femi. Femi's been holding for a while. Femi, are you there? Hello, Femi. Oh, we lost that call. So I know somebody named Nima that kept his life on hold for exactly 12 years because he was trying to travel abroad. So he didn't look for a job. He kept trying to do the processing, talking to his family, raising money to buy visa, to buy this. You know, his whole life was on hold, applying, reapplying, and reapplying. 12 whole years wasted because he was waiting. He didn't want to do a business. He didn't want to start anything concrete because he felt that I am going.
They may have seen a vision for him that your destiny is abroad.
So these are things that happen that cause people to hold. So when people are in that kind of phase, how do we get them to understand yes, you want to travel abroad, but whilst you are here, you can make yourself...
If you get abroad, because me, I'm about this picture, clarity. If you get abroad, now
what will you do?
What will be the life? Are you just going there? The road jobs, are they waiting on the roads?
You know, the dignified one.
That's because society has determined that going abroad is success.
So you understand? Life is what you make of it anywhere that you are in. So I wanted to add to what Miriam said, that when you wake up, now be your breakfast. The truth is, the farm where you farm, now you go take chop now. You know, you prepare for that day break. You walk towards it. You put in the work. You might not, the food feel not done. You might be cooking beans while somebody else made in noodles. And you're waiting, but your beans will go done. You understand? Because that green grass you're looking at abroad, somebody wets the grass. They had government policies that worked. They had collective will of the people to be directed towards that vision that you are looking at and saying, we don't have visionary leader in Africa. If one person brings the vision, 12 people will have opinion about it, even in this Lagos. You know? And so everybody, what exactly is the goal?
Joke, are you there? Hello, Joke?
Oh, what's wrong with our lines?
Hello? Oops. I think we lost that call.
Let me give a simple analogy with this waiting thing. So you see a waiter that works in the restaurant. What do? They are actually called waiters. They are meant to wait on you, right? But what do? They don't just stand. They walk and they serve. So waiting is a time for service.
Thank you.
Find something to serve. Find an organization to volunteer. Let them not pay you, but this is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. If you are looking for a child, you can go to Motherless Babies Home and volunteer. Love those children. Take care of them. I'm just saying.
Africans, carry your neighbor picking
and training and be taking. You know, the waiting period is a time to serve. So find where your skill sets are, or whatever it is that you're looking towards to, and serve in that direction.
Good.
There's another analogy, Miriam, there's another analogy I wanted to give. So they have two, we have the way plants are, the way trees are. They take different years to grow. I heard the bamboo tree takes about 6 to 7.
Takes 40 years.
Jesus. This is our Agbalumo here. Fantastic. But
the
analogy I want to give,
you have a generation.
The analogy I want to give is the fact that you have maybe like the corn or something, and then they spring up and it's finished and it's gone. But then you see this tree and you're nurturing, it's taking time. When it finally grows, it topples over the others.
Let me add to that your analogy. For trees like that, they say it is creating roots deep down into the ground. So it's growing from underneath until after many years, then it comes out. Meanwhile, you've done most of the work.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think that, yes.
Now, old model.
You know, your friends, all your mates, better calm down. Because when you finally do, they'll be looking at, let me repaint my house. I think this my house is looking
But this is as long as you're focused.
You know where you're
and there's a difference.
Yeah. All right, I think we did a good job on that. Thank you very much, ladies. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to the next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.